What's your thing? Bugs. Everybody's gotta have a thing.
Bugs.
Bunny. Just bugs. No bunny.
Welcome.
Oh, that's a lot of them.
Hey everybody, and welcome to a very special episode of Explaining Warhammer to My Girlfriend. I am your host Ava, and joining me as always is my lovely significant other Kari. Welcome to Bugvania. Welcome.
My love.
Many bugs, yes?
They're getting closer.
Oh, that's fine.
Are you sure?
They just have a little nibble. It's okay. Just a little nibble.
Of
They
what?
hung you. They hunt you. It's okay.
I
don't
don't
worry.
wanna
Let
be
them.
snacks.
Let them have a little bit of you as a snack, as a treat. It's fine. It's okay.
What if I want me? All of it.
What if I want eat me? What?
Oh no.
Today we are talking about Tyranids.
Tyranids.
Yay! The cutest
The
little
tears
babies of the galaxy.
Of the nids.
Oh, I love Tyranids. They're so cute. And everybody's gonna be like, Ava, why do you think the Tyranids are cute? That's weird. Wrong. Terrible. They're babies.
They're little guys.
Little tiny guys. Oh, I love them. I love them so much. They're so cute.
I have a
And
Tyranid.
I love them so much. She do have a Tyranid. That was actually one of the first models that we ever got. I went
Yeah.
and visited Kari and Alex up in Canada.
Yeah.
And we had a whole bunch of kissy time, and it was very gay.
You told them.
And then,
Now they know.
oh, I'm sorry.
Ah!
And Alex was very kind and took us over to the Warhammer store,
Yeah.
where the mini of the month at the time, the Leviathan box had just dropped. And so we all got like a free little Termagant, a little push fit Termagant. And I painted mine, and I had a great time, and I loved it so much. Have you painted yours yet, love?
No.
Oh, that'll be fun.
I sometimes struggle to start projects.
That's okay.
Yeah.
That's okay. Well, today we are going to have a very special episode where we talk about nothing but bugs. But before we get into it, if you would like to support our show and send us some love, head on over to patreon.com/numbskulls, where you can get access to a private Discord, bloopers, early episodes, submitted questions to be read on the show, and much, much more. That is over at patreon.com/numbskulls. If you want to send some support and love our way, thank you. Also, if you would like some cool merch, head on over to orchidate.com. We've got a great selection of items like Nurgling sweatpants, Sleeping Outgrown hoodies, and much, much more. Very exciting things over in the future.
It also helps out our friend Bricky over there.
Also helps out our friend Bricky. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's a real nice guy. You should check him
We
out.
love Bricky. That's all over at orchidate.com. Link in the description.
Yeah.
My love.
Yeah.
What do you know about Tyranids?
I know they're buggos.
Bugs.
Every time you've described them to me, I've come to the conclusion that they are obviously alien and like
Munchy.
munchy. But like they feel to me similar to the little robot eat everything dogs from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. In so much as like that is what makes them scary, is that they are like a wall of mouths.
Yeah. Yeah, fair enough.
Like, what you gonna do?
Yeah. So obviously the inspiration for Tyranids, as you can see just from looking at them.
Yeah, obviously, is it Kabuto?
Well,
The Pokemon?
no.
Oh.
Necrons, it's Terminator. Imperium has a lot of things from Dune, etc., etc. The main inspiration, I believe, for Tyranids is Alien, Xenomorphs,
Yeah, I could see that.
which, now that I've actually seen Alien, that was one of the movies that like weirdly just did not catch my radar. Kari showed it to me, and I was like, wow, that was a really cool movie. We have yet to watch Aliens, plural.
Yes, but a lot of people like would consider that one the like peak.
I really liked Alien. I really, really liked it.
Oh, I liked Alien too. And those people are not saying that Alien is not standalone one of the best movies of all time.
Right.
They're just saying Aliens tops it.
Right. Fair enough. That makes sense.
And I'm sure many people also disagree with that. That's just the consensus I've heard.
Tyranids have an excellent case when it comes to starting to collect an army in terms of, man, you can get real creative with what you do to your buggos.
Yeah, absolutely.
I have seen some of the most vibrant, colorful models that come from Tyranids. Their carapaces, their little like fleshy bits, their tongues and everything. Like the possibilities are quite endless. Like you can pretty reliably make an army scheme and just kind of be throwing colors everywhere and make something that looks really decent without trying very hard. They're really, really cool if you can like get yourself into a creative, colorful brain area. I've seen a lot of really cool Tyranid stuff. Now, much like Alien, the vibe of Tyranids is horror and spooky unknown stuff.
Yeah.
So get ready for that. Just a forewarning. Our story begins in the middle of the Horus Heresy.
I didn't know we were actually going to have a story. I was just expecting like,
yeah, I know, right?
Here it is.
here they are.
That's one.
Get here
That's another one.
point.
Yeah, I guess so. But I guess I didn't expect it. I feel like when I think of Warhammer, maybe I see it as maybe I don't know why I think this, considering our whole chaos adventure. I guess my brain, there's somewhere in it that thinks that it is like a record, but I think that that's just because it's a story, and sometimes my brain does that. Like a record, as if like someone has written it down, and like, are the bugs right? Like
the bug. No. So a lot of this is sort of like we know this because a codex talked about it, or Games Workshop confirmed it, or so on and so forth. This story begins in the middle of the Horus Heresy,
right
at the Battle of Sotha. Basically, there was a planet that had a Necron device on it called the Pharos Beacon. This was a very, very important artifact to a lot of people for a lot of different reasons. But the main reason is it was technology. It was this giant, like mountain-sized thing just coming out of the planet. And it was this technology that could allow the user to teleport without using the warp.
Damn.
Which is insanely crazy.
Yeah, that's like Exodia.
Yeah. Also, if you wanted to still use the warp, it would be like a beacon, like a lighthouse.
Oh.
So you could traverse the warp like more easily.
Oh, okay.
When you go into hell, there's not a lot of directions.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of directions while the demons are trying to like eat you.
There's one of those little like posts with the arrows and different.
Yeah.
Sisyphus is over there.
Yeah.
With his boulder.
Oh, he's making the best of it.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's the river of wailing souls.
So the weirdest part about the Pharos Beacon is that rather than like warp power or like any sort of power source, its power came from empathic waves.
Okay.
I don't know exactly what that means, but it just makes me think, man, Necron technology is nuts.
Yeah, no kidding. This is why I'm interested in it.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm interested in like whatever the heck the Necrons have, and also Psychers.
Yeah, fair enough. Necron's got some crazy technology. At one point in one game, I can't remember which one it is. Obviously, it's not canon, but the plot revolves around this giant Necron MacGuffin that just closes the Eye of Terror casually. That giant gaping wound in the middle of the galaxy that is just a straight portal to hell. Yeah, they just close it. So during the Battle of Sotha, it was like Loyalist versus traitor Space Marines, right?
Right.
And the Loyalist Space Marines decided the only way that we are going to win this is by overloading the device.
Right.
And so they overloaded it. Big wave of energy. Bam. And the thing turned off for some time. Now, because it's Necron technology, eventually it started to come back. So it was just basically on a respawn timer. I'm pretty sure most of the Loyalist and the Traitor Legions died in that fight, but that's par for the course when it comes to Horus Heresy. Lots of casualties, right?
Yeah.
Now, unfortunately, overloading the system caused an energy wave that went through the planet and then went through the system and then expanded past the galaxy and went over the universe.
Oh, no.
Unknown to everyone, this signal alerted forces beyond our galaxy.
Oh, no.
And a couple little bug boys over way yonder, way over in some other galaxy went, what was that? Well, guys, there's food over there. And so for the next 10,000 years, the Tyranids moseying along toward our galaxy.
They just hungry.
Just floating along. Here they come. And yeah.
Okay. And that's just happening. And we have no idea how many of them could be on their way.
Yeah, we had no idea. There could be endless numbers of them. There could be...
Yeah, because we don't even know like what amount of space is behind them.
No.
Right. This is a problem.
So, speaking of Necrons.
Okay.
You remember the Silent King, Zarek?
Yeah, I do.
You remember how he exiled himself and he's like at the edge of the galaxy, like just completely isolated.
Yeah.
And he's just sitting there feeling sad about himself, going like, man, I really messed up. He looks up into the endless void.
Yeah.
And he sees something and it's getting closer. And there's a lot of them.
Oh, no.
And so he goes, oh, no. And he turns around and he's like, we gotta go. Guys, wake up. Everyone wake up. It's bad.
Okay.
It's bad, man.
Okay, now I want to tell you the best part.
Yeah.
Is that I'm going to redo what happened there, but I'm going to show you how he actually did it.
Mm-hmm. She's just miming it. Yeah. Yeah, he wouldn't actually say anything.
Exactly. Like, he's
No,
got to
that's fair
text
enough.
that really fast.
So he's texting it to everybody. It's just like, guys, wake up, guys, wake up.
He's like patting the guys on the shoulder that he like get it like transcribed for him, and he's like, "Are you seeing that?" But like,
Guys, it's bad. So you might be wondering, what's the deal with Tyranids? What they doing?
like, okay, yeah, sure.
Guess what? It's even easier to understand than orcs.
I was gonna say my mind doesn't really question it
Munch, munch.
as much as my mind doesn't question why does mold grow. You know,
Munch, munch, reproduce, keep going. Munch, munch, hungry.
life finds a way. That's why.
Life find way, we hungry. Let's go.
Life find way. We hungry.
Life find way, we hungry. Woo. So let's talk about some of the quirks when it comes to the Tyranids themselves. Let's talk about what exactly is going on in their little heads.
Mm-hmm.
The hive mind.
The hive mind.
So lots of bugs.
Okay.
They have the hive mind. So Tyranids operate via this hive mind, and every single Tyranid is connected to it in sort of a web system,
Right.
with the strongest of the species being the closest in connection to the hive mind. So it's like hive mind, leader / commander or whatever, then like the lieutenants, and then like the underlings, right? And it's just this web that extends down. The species that are closer to the hive mind are usually known as like synapse creatures. You might hear me say the word synapse creature a few times.
Right.
It just means that it has like a really close connection to the hive mind. It's not like a normal buggo that you might see, right?
Interesting. It's interesting that they call it. Do you know what a synapse is?
No, I do not.
It is the space between neurons. So they're literally calling it a part of the brain.
Ooh, interesting.
So how a neuron works
Ooh.
is
Yeah.
that you have an individual neuron, right?
Yeah.
And they kind of look like, okay, so you've got like the nucleus, right? Remember basic cells. The nucleus.
Yeah.
It's got
I
all its
remember.
little fingies, right? Woo.
Yeah.
Now the fingies
Yeah.
are for receiving signals, right?
Mhm.
Now it's got a little like body here.
Yeah.
When it receives a signal,
Mm-hmm.
it receives a signal that is a chemical, which fits into a slot on one of these little fingies. And that tells the
Okay.
neuron, I'm hungry. The hungry slot has been filled, right? And so your neuron sends the electric signal for I am hungry down
Yeah.
the body of the neuron to like the
Yeah.
bud of the neuron. And then the bud of the neuron produces the chemical that then is shot across the synapse to the next neuron.
I'm hungry. Now all the bugs are
Yeah,
hungry.
that's how.
We're hungry.
So synapse is technically where the message goes
Yeah.
from one cell to another. So it's interesting that a synaptic beast is like specified.
Yeah.
Psych with Kari.
So what's also cool about this is because these synapse creatures, when the stronger Tyranids show up, the bigger ones,
Right.
the rest of the Tyranids around them, the smaller ones, will fight with more tactics and more lethal measures.
So literally, it's like
Yeah.
a brain. Like the more of them cluster,
Yes.
the smarter they are as a group.
And that's what makes them so scary. The more there are, the stronger they are.
Okay, yeah. So there could very well be the most omniscient being in the world or in the universe, like just off there made up of an unimaginable number of these things. Like it could just be essentially a giant brain pulsating in nothingness.
Exactly. We have no idea what the hive mind looks like.
It's Andros.
We have no idea what it looks
No,
like.
Alex, you're not Alex. You're Ava, the other. Sorry,
The other
this
one.
happens sometimes.
The other partner.
It's Andros. Okay.
Sure.
Did you ever beat?
No.
Okay, so in Star Fox 64.
I know Star Fox. I know what Andros is.
If you beat the game, you fight Andros. Now, if you play the game again, you can't save, so you have to play it again right away. If you do that and you beat it again, you fight the actual secret boss that's the secret real boss, and it's not Andros. It's just Andros's brain.
Oh, ew.
I know, it's gross. It's got eyeballs. They like come at you.
Oh,
it's fucked
ew,
up.
icky.
It's weird,
Icky.
but there's just this image of this just brain floating up.
Yeah, pretty much.
Anyway, obviously not exactly like that. And I'm playing with a more literal version of the brain metaphor. But
Well, I mean, that could very well be what is actually happening because, like, again, we have no idea what the hive mind looks like.
this is much more fun than I expected.
The hive mind itself, no idea. We have no pictures to depict it. We have no like reference to what it could look like. We just know that they have a hive mind mentality.
We just have observed that it seems like when they cluster,
Yes.
the intelligence goes up, and we have no other information. That's fascinating.
So this is why when fighting Tyranids, it is so important to target the bigger ones.
Right.
Because let's say you have a commander unit in the middle of a swarm of like little tiny ones. Right?
Yeah.
If the commander dies, Space Marine kills it, right?
Right.
The connection to the hive mind is severed. And the Tyranids around it, that link breaks and they go back to animal instincts. They no longer have tactics.
Right. Okay. That makes sense.
They're on pure survival instincts, so they're much easier to take care of. But the problem is, again, there's just so many. there's just so many bugs.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. It's almost like one of them, acts as like a receiver.
Yes, it's a signal. Yeah, it's and they're amplifying it. And so they're fighting intelligently, and it's terrifying.
Yes.
I love Tyranids. They're so cool.
One of the interesting things that's coming to mind, this is, I mean, I just kind of interrupted you and said, like, this is funny
you're good.
because this is way more interesting than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, right?
Because I thought
You
it was
thought
just
just
going to be like some
huggy bug.
cool bug designs and like some funny
Huggy.
stories that basically
No.
comes down to like
No, they're really cool.
Super Earth or Starship Trooper kind of
Oh.
idea. Like I was expecting something like that, but this is way more fun.
Are you feeling democratic?
No, not really.
A good bug's a dead bug. I'm from Buenos Aires, and I say kill them all.
Do you like insects?
I'm doing my part.
What do you got to define a bug?
I'm doing my part.
Okay. Could you do it over there? Because this is my podcast.
You're bothering me. Go away.
Obviously, like the idea that they're like almost neurons themselves is cool and interesting to play with.
Yeah,
But
right?
it is also, there is an observable phenomenon that we have seen in at least human psychology. I'm sure this has been seen in some other species, but I don't have citations. But this has been observed in humans. Generally, we are technically more intelligent as a group than as individuals, pretty much regardless of like exceptions, like a super genius even.
Yeah.
For instance, if you have people guess how many jelly beans are in the jar, if you take everybody's different answers, like apart from ones that like obviously are meant to obscure the data.
Right. Some kid says 1.
Yeah, because they're just being a dick. You take out anything that is like, for whatever reason, you can't actually use it as data. If you take the like mathematical average, the entire group will almost have chosen the exact right number to the bean.
Yeah.
It's kind
Fair
of
enough.
crazy. Like people are literally like just smart enough.
You see, the difference is the Tyranid would just eat the entire jar and be like, there was 140 in there.
I am taking this wee little like video game tabletop thing and going, this is interesting because of this obscure psychology fact.
No, it's really cool. Yeah, no, you've described it perfectly of like, it's not just that they're bugs, it's that they are brain. They are synapses.
It is,
They are.
what is more powerful, 5 or 1? 5, 1. But
She made a
tactics
fist
are part
there.
of power.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did the Rob. We'll show the clip of him.
Yeah.
You know, because you think about it and like you hear that example all the time. And like it really comes down to how you react as you say the answer. Because if I take 5 sticks and try to break them, that's stronger than just one of those sticks.
Apes together strong.
Yeah, it just depends. But like using that visual, you are correct. To take a thing that can go together, oftentimes that thing is going to do better with more. Like pack mentality or, you know, it's why we group up.
Well, that goes into a lot of Tyranid tactics where when you get a Space Marine army, when you buy a start collecting box, you and your partner or your friend or whoever, you go into a store and you go, we're going to both buy like a start collecting combat patrol, whatever. And your friend goes, I'm going to pick Space Marines. And you go, okay.
Cool.
And then you are like, I'm going to pick Tyranids. They're going to have like 10 minis.
Yeah.
You're going to have like 50.
Yeah.
You are the swarm.
Yes.
You are the wave.
Numbers is part of the game.
Numbers is the game.
Yeah.
So it's time to talk about another crazy thing about them. They have this little quirk that has been deemed the shadow in the warp.
Okay. What?
Which is the coolest shit ever, right? What does that mean?
That's what I get when I hit level 80 as a Dark Knight.
The shadow in the warp.
Right? I get that move, right?
Kind of. So Tyranids seem to have blocked out the warp entirely, making them like almost invincible to magic, period.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
So basically, the more Tyranids there are,
Yes.
and the closer like their hive, their swarm is,
It like suppresses it.
it is a big no magic field around them or around the planet that they're invading that completely fucks with psychers, warp travel, and communications off-world.
Yeah.
So basically, side effects of this for like the average person, if there's a bunch of Tyranids,
Your phone's fucked up.
you'll have like some headaches, you'll have some nightmares.
Yeah.
Psychers, on the other hand, unfortunately suffer from screaming,
Okay.
bleeding from the eyes,
Oh.
and worse, and messages
worse?
off-world. So, hey, we're being invaded by bugs. The text message is not going through.
Yeah.
And not only that, but warp travel is real fucky-wucky. So traveling through hell is a dangerous thing. There's demons trying to get you. You got to make sure that your demon shield is up.
It's really complicated.
It's really complicated.
Everything's got a toll, and nobody knows who you're paying.
So it seems that when Tyranids are invading a planet, it literally like obscures that planet from the warp.
Right.
Like it is harder to find. Because when you go into the warp, it's like almost going into the ocean.
Yeah.
It's almost like diving in a submarine, kind of. I'm very much oversimplifying it.
Yeah.
But you then have to navigate through it in order to find your destination. Now, a lot of things can go wrong. Some people have gone into the warp and they've come out of the warp, and what do you mean? It's been 40 years. We were gone 40 minutes. Some people have gone into the warp and then they come back out and they're like, what do you mean? I'm on the other side of the galaxy. I was supposed to come out here. It's kind of inconsistent. Now,
Okay.
it seems even more difficult when the Tyranids are there because of this shadow in the warp. It is literally, the planet is like obscured. You cannot find it. We can't teleport there. Why? You have not unlocked the Aetherite.
Yeah, I was gonna say its aether is all fucked up.
It's all messed up.
Now we gotta like invoke a primal and kill it, and then the other one and kill it. I can't remember what the fuck they look like.
I want to read to you this timeline of a planet invasion,
Okay.
of a planet's consumption.
Oh.
There was a planet called Dalkey Prime that the Tyranids
Hang on, can we just sit
invaded.
with that for 1 second?
Dalkey Prime.
Donkey Prime? Holy moly.
Dalkey Prime.
Oh my gosh. Okay, well, here we are with Donkey Prime. That sounds like a knockoff Donkey Kong.
So this will kind of go into the how exactly Tyranids like spread so fast, and like how do we get from point A to point Z, right? How do we go from planets fine to planets gone?
How do we go from Netflix to Donkey Prime?
Dalkey Prime. Day 0. Spores are dropped on world, usually containing a lictor or a gene stealer. Reproduction begins immediately.
Okay, makes sense.
Day 9. Tyranids expand 200 kilometers from drop point and will present a threat to planetary defenses and any infantry force. By day 13, they have expanded 700 kilometers from the initial drop point. Infestation of local water sources begin.
Right.
Day 37. The control area has reached 2,000 kilometers from the drop point.
Okay.
Day 48, the population skyrockets, doubling every 2.5 days. By day 50, the hive fleet arrives.
Oh, good.
Psychic contact is cut off by the shadow in the warp. They cannot get a message out.
Yeah.
No more communication. The next day, day 51, consumption of biomass begins.
Excuse me.
All organic material on the planet is consumed and brought to reclamation pools. Capillary towers send the biomass into orbit. Day 80, hive ships collect biomass from orbit. The oceans boil away. Volcanic activity increases. Once complete, the hive fleet moves out of system to search for prey. 20 days later, day 100, the Imperial Navy arrives to find the world lifeless.
Shit.
20 days late.
I mean, 20 days late to a pretty bad sitch.
Exactly. The latest the message could have gone out was before day 50. So they're actually closer to 50 days late. Tyranids are all about collecting the biomass.
It feels like if you just got this without the like understanding of they look like and are bugs kind of in a way, they're almost like ants in the sense that they like
Yes.
kind of, you know, go in teams.
They swarm.
Yeah.
They eat. They go.
I feel like zombies come to mind.
Yeah.
In the sense of they like reproduce, obviously not through like, you know, but they reproduce by like just causing more of themselves because it's just, again, it's that it consumes and that becomes it and it just can't, and who knows
So not only is this terrifying,
Yeah, of course.
it's all about consuming biomass, which means any biomass.
So they literally like strip planets.
They are stripping the planet.
Yeah.
The oceans are boiling away.
Yeah, it's just like rocks left.
The planet is dead.
It's like if you looked at our planet and then the moon
Yeah.
and thought it was a before and after picture.
Yeah. And like, what's interesting is that when they collect this biomass, they collect it all into these pools. And then there's like these organic spires that reach into the atmosphere.
Yeah.
And they shoot out the spores so that the hive fleet can like yum, 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 yum. And then they just move on.
Yeah.
So
That's interesting.
not only is that terrifying,
Yeah.
let's say they arrive to a planet. Let's say it's a planet that has like lava instead of water.
Sure.
Okay, Tyranids come
Shinji.
down. Oh no, they burned alive.
Okay, they can't survive this.
Okay, the next ones come down. They have evolved to swim in lava.
Now, when you say evolved, do you mean that
They have adapted.
something about them seems to sense what hurt more of them? That connection we've established.
The hive mind is aware of what just happened.
Yeah, and it is also able to consciously change its body
Yes.
into whatever it wants.
At a rapid pace.
That is not good.
That is terrifying.
Motherfuckers like flubber and like trillions.
They rapidly adapt, they rapidly evolve.
Right.
Hey, that nuke worked really well. It won't work as well the next time.
Yeah.
They'll evolve to just tank it.
Yeah.
Like the problem with Tyranids is that eventually it's almost like Shin Godzilla.
I was just thinking.
Where eventually you're not gonna be able to kill it.
Yeah. You are limited in a way that it is not.
You need to find a different solution.
And you either break your own limitations somehow, like go to space and start making
Yes.
whatever, or it's an inevitability and make yourself comfortable, I guess.
Yeah, like it is scary, man.
Yeah.
Dude, I love Tyranids. They're very, very, very cool. Now, with this rapid evolution, this is where the creativeness of like having the models comes in.
Yeah, totally. You can be so creative.
Yeah.
You can make them female. You go wild with these things.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Hey, calm down. We can't get that creative. Whoa,
Sorry.
hey, calm down.
I got excited. You know me, women.
So what I've seen some people do is they take like texture paste, like what you're supposed to put on the base to replicate like ground.
Okay.
But they'll take like lava,
Oh,
like it's supposed to
cool.
crack like lava. They'll paint the carapace of a Tyranid. So they'll paint it like orange, but then they'll paint like the lava texture on it so it'll crack and it'll look like their carapace is lava.
It's like how there are choo-choos, but there are fire choo-choos and
Yeah.
like water choo-choos.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can make armor out of Tyranids by just killing one and then taking its friend.
My love, one of my favorite Space Marine models, period, and I hope to fucking God they lean into this aesthetic. It is from the Leviathan box. It is like a Space Marine lieutenant that is wearing Tyranid carapace as like his fucking shoulder armor, and like on his arm, it looks like Monster Hunter shit, and it is so fucking good. It's so good.
There's a creature
Creature.
in Maiden Abyss
Okay.
that cannot die.
Oh, that's not good.
Yeah, it seems that no matter what the hell you do to it, it survives. It certainly doesn't feel well. It feels pain, we can tell.
Yeah.
But it survives whatever you throw at it.
It's not gonna die.
And it is impacted, but its body immediately shifts to like get over it, like fix the wound immediately. So basically what happens is some of the characters use it by like feeding it poisons, and then its body produces an antidote.
Ah, fair enough. Yeah.
Obviously in this situation,
It's a little different.
ethically, but I'm just thinking like if I was in this universe, I go to science mode.
Well, I think the problem with that is it seems that this rapid adaptation, this rapid evolution comes from the fact that the hive mind is adjusting. So the only thing that is stopping you from that is if you were to capture a Tyranid and put it in a jar or like in a cage or something. Not only is it still incredibly dangerous, it is now cut off from that hive mind.
Right.
So it will not rapidly evolve. It's now an animal.
You would have to set up the situation for it to happen.
Yeah, exactly. But also, how many people are going to die doing that?
Well, and also, like, who's to say this is even a repeatable?
Yeah, if that's even possible.
This is just my mind going, is this a cool new element of Warhammer that I could have, like, an apothecary character who they have, like, a Tyranid farm that they just, like, kill their Tyranids in whatever way the guy orders next?
Oh, no.
Like something
So-
that is, like, Warhammery fucked up, but fun for me.
Tyrannid
And very, very
breeding
fictional.
game.
Tyrannid
rancher.
breeding game. Like, you always see those ones that's, like, breed the dragons.
Yeah, sure.
And, like, I could totally see that.
Why not Tyrannids? Games Workshop. Get on it. Stardew Valley, but with Tyranids.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the hive fleets, like the main hive fleets, because there's more than one. You have the hive mind, which is like encompassing all Tyranids, it seems. But then you have the hive fleets, which are like more independent. These are like sort of your sub-factions. But each hive fleet is made up of tendrils. They're called tendrils, but it's basically like... She's pointing at the drawing of the
of the little
neuron.
squiggles of the little arms.
Of the little squiggles.
The little arms
Yes,
that receive
they are made up of tendrils.
the data from the Sendy boys.
Yes, it's very much that. So
After the synapse.
These tendrils are reaching out, and so instead of like the swarm has come, it's this tendril of hive fleet behemoth has found us.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Oh yeah, that's an intense fucking thing, right? So let's talk about how Tyranids met the Imperium of Man. Now, this was definitely into 40k. First, it was Hive Fleet Behemoth. First contact with the Tyranid menace.
Okay.
Hive Fleet Behemoth have red flesh with a bluish, grayish, sometimes black carapace.
Yeah, I've seen this.
They are very simple. They are upfront, they are blunt, and they mow their way through the galaxy. They munch. Very much like your corn melee adjacent kind of deal. Hive Fleet Behemoth.
Cool.
Eventually, they were fought to a standstill. And the problem with that is that when you fight the Tyranids to a standstill, well, they have to eat something.
Right. They're backed into a corner and they're going to go somewhere.
So what are they going to eat if there's no humans or biomass? Well, time to cannibalize.
Oh.
Yeah, they don't care. They need the biomass.
I mean, that's not so bad from the human perspective.
No, from the human perspective, it's like, oh my God, they're eating themselves. Good.
And my brain had just been like, this might be the actual unstoppable thing, but now I've realized there's a weakness.
There is a weakness.
They are mortal.
Funny enough, Trazyn the Infinite was chilling on his world, his full museum planet of Solemnes.
In the Barbie Dream House.
And he looks outside and he sees all these bugs avoiding his planet.
Right.
They're not interacting with his planet whatsoever.
Okay. Something about his planet is like, they don't want it.
There's no biomass there. It's a Necron planet.
Yeah, but he does have some trapped beings. But I guess that's not quite enough.
Yeah, but they're all in like stasis.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
It is not a living planet.
No.
Yeah.
And so when these bugs went by Trazyn's planet, they kind of were so far away from other biomassy planets that they just kind of went into hibernation.
They were doing a big commute.
So I imagine in that moment, Trazyn was like, oh, what is this? And he like comes over and he like grabs a couple of them and he's like, what the? I've never seen this one.
Oh.
Second contact was with Hive Fleet Kraken. Hive Fleet Kraken has a tannish skin tone with a red carapace, like a dark red carapace. They look awesome. I love Hive Fleet Kraken.
Yeah, they're very cool.
Now, the difference with them is that the Imperium was prepared this time, because after they came over, Behemoth really messed up a lot of the Imperium, because it was just like, how do we stop this? They're not stopping.
Right.
Even our Space Marines, they're just like they've got like acid vomit. They're gonna like completely melt through the Space Marine armor and then eat the spaceman. We can't. Oh no. Oh no.
The Spaceman, my brain just has this image of like the Vashta Narada menacingly. You're the Spaceman.
So the Imperium, after Hive Fleet Behemoth, set up a defense for the preparation of potentially another Tyranid invasion.
Okay.
However, the problem with this is that 250 fucking years went by.
That's a bit.
And eventually the High Lords of Terra were just like, why do we even need a defense? We've killed all the bugs. There is no more bugs. We defeated them. It was just some sort of random thing that we found in the galaxy. It's all gone now. And then immediately Kraken showed up. Now, Kraken showed up. Munch.
Right.
Mostly were defeated after taking a couple worlds, but they're still around. All of these Tyranid, no matter how many they defeat, they may have defeated like a tendril.
Yeah, who knows?
But the main fleet isn't here yet.
It's seeing them, it's like bed bugs. If you see one, move.
It's the same exact thing with orcs. If an orc is on a planet, you've got orcs.
Yeah.
You see a Tyranid, you've got Tyranids, man. You need to get out.
If you have black mold, you've had a problem for a while.
You've had a problem for a while. So, not long after Kraken's defeat, Hive Fleet Leviathan arrived.
Okay.
Hive Fleet Leviathan is the main threat in current Warhammer 10th edition. They have a very iconic magenta skin tone with a purple carapace. They look great. I love Leviathan's look. They are so iconic.
This one in particular looks a little bit like, who's that character from Dragon Ball Z?
Frieza.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've got sort of Frieza-ish colors.
Frieza/Mewtwo.
Is that Frieza?
Is that the Digimon Mewtwo?
So what's really cool about Leviathan, the reason why the Imperium was caught off guard, so the galactic map of 40k is like horizontal, right? All the planets are like on a line.
Yeah.
We don't really constitute the y-axis, mostly the x-axis.
It's like when you look at our galaxy, it's horizontal.
So the planet is here, right?
Being Terra.
Yeah, so Terra's here.
Yeah.
Leviathan attacks from below.
Oh, that's really scary. Wait, how big is it?
Yes, it is.
No, that's like that weird video where they tried to convince people that megalodons were real by showing them a video of one eating a mermaid. And by real, I mean like right now. Like,
So, in terms of how big is it, it is the biggest
oh, I hate that.
Tyranid force that we have seen thus far.
Oh, that gave me the
It is
chills.
the largest force. Yeah, them coming up through the galaxy.
I don't like that.
Yeah, they're awesome. I love it.
Oh, that's so scary.
I should mention the Ultramarines have a bit of a grudge when it comes to the Tyranids.
Okay.
Because when the first Tyranids showed up and the first Tyranid War, or what is more commonly known as the first Tyrannic War.
Tyrannosaurus
Nope.
Rex.
The first Tyrannic War, High Fleet Behemoth came from like what would be considered on the galactic map the southeast of the galaxy, which is where the Ultramarines' homeworld is.
Okay.
Now, they almost died, like all of them.
And so I'm going to do my best blonde American hero voice.
Yes.
You do it better than me afterwards.
Yes.
Now it's personal.
No, it's personal. Thank you, girly man.
Now it's personal.
Like literally the Ultramarines were on their last leg when the first Tyrannic War was beaten. Like they barely won. And the reason why they won is because they self-destructed what is considered an Emperor class battleship, which they don't make those anymore.
Right. It involved significant sacrifice.
Yes. It was a catastrophic loss.
Yes.
So the Ultramarines are now in 10th edition fighting Leviathan, and they're like, they've got a chip on their soldiers because they're like, fucking bugs.
It's like the dragoons against
The dragons, yeah.
Like they're not just at war. They fucking hate them.
Yeah, last time you almost got rid of my entire Space Marine chapter. I'll kill you.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Inquisitor Cryptman and the big fucky wucky.
That is how our Baldur's Gate 3 campaign started.
It's true.
That was when I attacked you because I didn't know.
Kari didn't understand what was going on.
And then we met the old guy in the crypt, and that was about how far we got because then my
true.
computer imploded.
It's true. Cryptman is an Inquisitor of the Ordo Xenos. Basically, he's an Inquisitor whose specialty is to investigate and research aliens.
He's a biologist, a zoologist, an insectologist.
He's a fanatic who really likes killing aliens, probably.
Oh, he's a
More
fanatic.
likely.
He's not like a...
So the Inquisitors are part of the Imperium. They are usually like what could be considered the cops of the setting.
Okay.
Typically, Inquisitors and Space Marines often get into little tiffs, especially with factions like the Space Wolves, who are like... At one point, there was a situation where a bunch of humans were being invaded by demons, and the Space Wolves came by and helped, and the Inquisition was like, well, no one can know about chaos, so let's kill all the civilians. And Space Wolves were like, over our dead bodies, we'll fucking kill you. This caused a civil war.
Fair.
Basically, they're very much like your witch hunter kind of thing.
Yeah, very much so.
But instead of witch hunting, alien hunting. So he's supposed to be this expert in aliens.
All right.
Now, during the first Tyrannic War, he was actually the one to discover the Tyranid invasion and managed to warn the Ultramarines in time of the coming threat, which did allow them to at least try to prepare and defend against the Hive Fleet. If he had not done that, the Ultramarines probably would have died, like completely gone. That chapter's done.
Right.
Now, the chapter did take heavy losses, including the entire first company of veterans. So like the oldest dudes, gone.
Ouch.
Ouch. Much of the system where their homeworld was completely devastated, and victory was only achieved by, as I mentioned earlier, detonating an extremely large and very rare battleship in the heart of the Tyranid fleet. And it took about 100 years for the Ultramarines to recover. Like, it was a destructive blow.
Right.
Now, Cryptman had a bright idea when he saw signs that High Fleet Leviathan was coming this way. He had a great idea. I know the path that they're gonna come. Let's blow up every single planet in their way so that they won't have any food and it'll buy us time to respond.
Okay, all unoccupied planets, right?
This action killed billions in the biggest genocide since the Horus Heresy.
All unoccupied planets, right?
This action was so fucking unhinged
Holy
that
shit!
the Inquisition kicked him out.
This guy said, the fucking trolley problem? Are you kidding me?
Bro, you mean multi-track drifting?
He took a piss on the trolley problem.
This action was
Oh my God.
awful that the motherfucking Inquisition kicked him out.
Yeah. I'm not for the death penalty, but put him in a pod and launch it.
And now the Inquisitors are like, it's on sight. If we see him, it's done. It's over.
Me too.
Kill him on sight.
I mean, I'll report him. I'm not gonna.
So Cripman was a wanted criminal for killing billions in the biggest genocide since the Horus fucking Heresy.
Right. That whole thing.
But Cripman had another bright idea. Hey, why not make orcs who get stronger as they fight against the Tyranids who get stronger as they fight? Nothing bad's gonna happen. They'll fight to a standstill, right?
Yeah, that's how.
And then everything went wrong.
Yeah, obviously. It's basically an infinite food source for the Tyranids.
Not only did the Tyranids win the battle,
Yeah.
they were now even more numerous than before, not only buffing them significantly, but also rendering the previous genocide of multiple planets completely worthless.
It's kind of like
You did that for nothing.
if you dug a moat and like killed a bunch of species in digging that moat in order to like siege someone's house or something, and then
Someone's castle.
you were like, if we throw chicken wings at them, they'll die. Or like chickens, if we just throw chickens at the island. It's like you're providing a resource.
You're providing resources.
Yeah.
Now, this was going to end badly either way because if Tyranids won, which they did, now they have even more numbers than they did before. Good job, Critman. If the orcs won, well, now the orcs are buff as hell.
Right.
And they're going to want to fight still. So lose all around.
Yeah.
So Critman, as far as I know, oops.
Yeah.
Oopsie. Oopsie doopsie. Oh no. Last I checked, that's where we are at in terms of the 4th Tyrannic War in 10th edition.
This not sounding great.
Not great.
Yeah.
No. Leviathan, they are stronger than ever. Ultramarines are like, oh shit. Hey, one of the Space Marine planets, one of the homeworlds of a chapter called the Blood Angels,
Yeah.
it's gone.
Oh my goodness.
Their homeworld is gone. The devastation of Baal is their home planet, it's gone. Such devastation.
Well, that's not good.
That's not good.
Okay.
You know what is good?
What's that?
Bugs.
No, we love bugs.
They're just cute
Look at
little
these little guys. Oh, little
So
friends.
it's time to talk about Tyranid species. Now, obviously, I can't cover every single subspecies or like evolution
It's like squigs.
when it comes to Tyranids. They're kind of like squigs.
Are there hair Tyranids?
No.
Okay, thank God.
Now, the thing is, I cannot cover all of them, but I will try to cover the basic ideas.
Yeah.
And basically what we're going to look at is we're going to look at like a base, and then we're going to be like, but they can also turn into this.
It's Digimon.
And we're also going to try to go from smallest to largest.
Yes.
With also that going from least intelligent to most intelligent.
Tyranids. Tyranids.
Let's begin with the swarm species. We are beginning with rippers, a ripper swarm.
Oh no.
Also known by the Imperium Guardsmen as ankle biters.
Right, fair. Little guys.
They're basically piranhas that eat everything in the final stage of the harvest.
Little nippy guys.
They often become too bloated to fight,
Yeah.
and they go into the pools that like shoot the biomass up in the capillary towers to be like fed upon.
Right.
Because it's all part of the circle of life, you see. Now, that said, sometimes they do evolve into other species dependent on the biomass that they consume.
Sure.
So again, they eat something, they evolve.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Sometimes they can evolve wings, in which case they are designated as sky slashers.
Makes sense.
There is also a subspecies of rippers known as cortex leeches that have giant needles that go into people's brains and control them.
That's what I thought you were gonna say.
Yeah, not great.
Based on the name.
Not great. Don't like that one. So these are the smallest ones.
They like on the nose names.
Yes, they do.
We love calling things what they are.
Our next species is the gaunt species. We begin with the Hormagaunt/Termagaunt, also known by the Imperial Guardsmen as critters.
Okay.
Now, these are your main infantry forces. When you buy a box of Tyranids, it's mostly going to be these guys.
Right.
The Hormagaunt being the melee version with the little spiky spikes.
Oh, they're kind of cute.
And the Termagaunt being the ones with like guns. Now, as you might imagine, everything that you see in terms of like guns, I'm using that term very loosely, or ships or swords or whatever that a Tyranid might have, they are all usually another bug or some sort of biological evolution or symbiotic or parasitic relationship.
Right.
Yeah. They have no technology. It's all biology.
It's like the squigs.
Yeah.
The Tyranid gun is like a squig gun. It's like how cats become the shape
If it sits, it fits.
of the thing that's containing them.
Yes.
They become what the need is.
Yeah.
Which is evolution. That is actually how it works. It fills the needs. But like this is like to the point of convenience as opposed to like
Right.
if you're not killed off, then I guess you had some good genes.
So their usual purpose is just to swarm, cull the planet before the main fleet gets there.
Right.
Now, their other main purpose is when the Hive Fleet gets there, they are to protect the larger, more powerful synapse creatures of the army, and they will scatter like animals if the connection to the hive mind is severed. So if you kill a commander, these are the ones that are going to like scatter like little cockroaches. They will be
They're
a problem
gonna be
on their
left
own.
over.
Yeah, they will not be
And
organized.
still a problem on their own.
Next, we have another subspecies of the gaunt called the neurogaunt. So it's like a little carapace
what?
Tyranid thing,
like a
and it's
crab?
got another bug on top of its back.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, the shape is it doesn't really have a silhouette that is easy to identify
So
at
like
first glance.
head, body, arms,
But I think I'm seeing what
and then
you're
bug.
describing. Yeah.
So these are also called node beasts, depending.
Right. Okay. Oh, they're like us.
In what way?
Because they're like attached.
No,
they
you're
like
cute.
Each other.
No, you're cute.
They could put on a little trench coat. That'd be cute.
I do think it's parasitic,
Oh.
but I don't know. But that is cute. They are cute. I love them. I love them so much.
But if
the little neurogaunt,
you could-
they're very cute. I love them so much.
I want to put them in a trench coat. And then like somebody would be saying something and it'd be like, one more thing.
So the purpose of a neurogaunt is to buff the range of a synapse creature, like a extension of the signal.
It's like a dish.
So they're just little helpers. They just hang around the bigger ones and they protect them if they need to, but they're just little helpers.
They're like an antenna.
Yeah, they're like little antennas running around. Our next in the gaunt subspecies is the barb gaunt.
Oh, cool. He's doing a little walkie, little lean.
Now, the barb gaunt is a artillery infantry hybrid that has fused with a parasite on its shoulder that acts as its gun.
Ah.
Unfortunately, the gun part does completely take over the Tyranid's body. So
Right.
it's basically just a husk that a gun is controlling. Very
I
creepy if you think about it for too long.
This silhouette is very Godzilla.
Yeah, a little bit.
Like just this big spiky back thing.
We're going to be moving fast through these.
We're going.
Next in the gaunt subspecies, we have the gargoyle, also classified as the hellbat. They fly now.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see how we came to that name.
This subspecies of gaunt are usually more fragile than the rest, and most often go for enemies' eyes with venom that fires from their guns.
So what I do is I attach an eye to the arrow and then
it zooms in. If there is, say, an enemy gunship that is in range, they will hurl themselves into the enemy vents or engines or etc. to bring down a ship or clog the ventilation of a fortress or something. They are expendable. All of these bugs so far, they're expendable.
They're drones.
You're all drones.
Yeah.
Now,
yeah.
let's go into the next type of subspecies. Are you ready? The thrope species. Zoanthrope,
Whoa.
neurothrope,
Whoa.
also classified by Imperial Guardsmen
Oh.
as the brain
He
bugs.
looks like the fetus of Satan
Little bit.
or a dragon.
So these are your wizards or like your psychers of the Tyranid forces.
He's just like me for real.
just like
That's how I sit on the couch.
So these species display intense psychic abilities, allowing for a sort of barrier to passively be around them or to shoot out devastating attacks. However, This ability can be quite cumbersome and can cause self-destruction in some circumstances. Some Imperial Guards have reported that in trying to cast a spell, for lack of a better term, a Zoanthrope or a Neurothrope has like literally exploded its own brain because it's just overloaded and will just kill itself. Like other large species of Tyranid, it will prioritize its own survival above the smaller species that serve to protect it. They can evolve in numerous ways, often into psychic power specifically designed to destroy the species that it has consumed. So say it is eating a bunch of humans, it'll have a bunch of anti-human magic or a bunch of anti-Eldar magic or orc or whatever, right?
Okay.
It's all about much.
Yeah.
Evolve.
Yeah.
Now, with these Thrope species, we have the next subspecies called the Venom Thropes. Venom Thropes is a subspecies of Thropes that uses venom and poison attacks to protect itself. Using a cloud of spores that contain a lethal gas to non-Tyranid species, it creates an area of effect, just a little mist around itself. And it uses its tentacles, that are also, unsurprisingly, covered in poison and venom, to grab enemies and drag them into the smoke.
Oh.
Its venom and poison is so potent that it kills the soil and destroys the atmosphere. It's poison on steroids.
Yeah, I don't like this.
Also real uggo.
Oh.
I like the Zoanthropes a lot. They're cute.
Yeah, they're good. I don't like
Yeah, Venom Thropes are a little spooky.
Yeah.
Next, we get into more of the classic Tyranid, standard kinda species, the warrior species.
Oh, dude.
We begin with the typical Tyranid warrior / Tyranid prime species.
Yeah.
These are deadly creatures that stand taller than even space marines. Capable of evolving rapidly to suit the needs of battle, these warriors can be equipped with a number of evolutionary weapons from guns, swords, whips, wings, and even more. Being synaptic creatures, they share a strong connection to the hive mind, and thus, if defeated and killed, the connection will be snapped, leaving the smaller soldiers accompanying it scattered and confused.
Are you saying they would be synaptic?
They would be synaptic. Yeah. With enough time, warriors may evolve into a Tyranid prime. These advanced warriors are more intelligent, faster, stronger, and far more deadly than their other counterparts. As long as a Tyranid prime is alive, the swarm surrounding it will be a unified and terrifying force. So these are like your sergeants, you could say.
Yeah.
Next, in the warrior subspecies, Raveners, also known to Imperial Guards as snakes or slither slashers. This species utilizes speed and burrowing to ambush and outrun their prey. Their senses are so sharp that they can even detect energy from various forms of technology, allowing them to find even the most well-hidden fortification. So hey, is your radio giving off a signal? Great, they found you.
Right.
The large variant of Ravengers is known as a Trigon or a Mawlok that are able to dig through material. They have been seen to be up to 23 feet high, or 7.1 meters. These Tyranids are able to find their prey through rhythmic sounds on the surface, such as a beating heart.
Yeah.
Now, where have I heard that before? The rhythm, huh? You gotta walk without rhythm, man. Don't detect that worm. A subspecies of Trigon is known as a Harpy, terrorizing the sky and bombing the ground with thousands of gargoyles flying by it.
I like that this one specifically is going,
Yeah. So a cool thing about Tyranids is that typically a lot of their hive fleets or species within them are named after like mythological beasts.
Yeah.
I talked about like the main 3 hive minds, but like there's Hive Fleet, Kraken,
right.
Jabberwocky,
yeah,
like monsters, Manticore, blah, 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 blah. It's really cool, the naming scheme of the Tyranids, because it's truly like, it is a monster.
Yes.
It has evolved specifically to fuck up your day. Now we move on to the more advanced species. Here we have a gene stealer.
Okay.
Known by many species as Nightmare, Clawed Changeling, the Snatcher Devil, Ghost,
What?
and much
What the hell?
more. Oh yeah, these guys are freaky.
Is this like when you're like happily going through the Pokedex and then suddenly you come to like Drowsy's little
Yeah,
write-in
a
and
little
you're like,
bit. It's like,
what do you mean he eats kids?
What do you mean? Gene stealers are scouts for the Hive Fleet that find planets to harvest. These are typically like the first Tyranid that lands
Scout
on the
unit.
planet.
Yeah.
They're there to infiltrate. This species of Tyranid will infiltrate a planet's society and, over the course of possibly hundreds of years, infect and indoctrinate its genes into the population, remaining unseen the entire time. This method of reproduction and influence is spread through a gene stealer's kiss, in which the victim takes on a tiny parasitic organism that controls the host, bending it to the gene stealer's will. It's alien. It's alien.
But
Face
also
hugger. But also mind control.
Parasite. Have you ever read Parasite?
Oh, no, I have not read Parasite.
Oh, okay.
Basically, imagine if Alien, but instead of the chest burster like coming out, it like controlled
That's what
John
Parasite
Hurt.
is.
Oh, well, there you go. Yeah,
Exactly.
It's exactly that. So,
Yeah.
over the course of generations, slowly some planets, it's like, wow, a lot of this population has like developed a lot of 3 arms.
We checked
Weird.
the chemical
It's
makeup
fine.
in the food any
Nah,
time
it's fine. It's
recently.
fine. It's fine.
Is everybody getting enough sulfates?
It's fine. This influence can be seen physically on organisms via extreme mutations, often the growing of multiple limbs and enlarged skulls.
So Stewie was a sign on Family Guy.
In the Family Guy universe, the gene stealers have already infiltrated. Should a gene stealer be found and killed, those affected by its influence will still remain somewhat under the control of the hive mind until the arrival of the fleet. Gene stealers are a whole thing. We don't have time to talk about all of them today because there's a faction called the Gene Stealer Cults that we should dedicate an entire video on.
No, this is cool. I'm very interested. I did
All
not
hail
expect
the
this is fascinating.
three-armed emperor.
Wait, what?
All hail the
As in,
three-armed
like,
emperor of mankind.
When we're talking about
Mhm.
MP, why does he have 3 arms?
Well,
Oh, he's infected.
it's basically like they have seen things.
There's a premonition that that's going to happen. Or that he will be replaced.
We should talk about it in the episode, folks.
You brought it up.
I know. I want to get you more interested.
No, I know. You've succeeded.
Our next
Holy!
member of advanced species
I saw that.
is the Lictor, Neurolictor, Death Leper, also known by the Imperial Guard as Mantis Stalkers. This subspecies of warriors are specialist scouts and masters of stealth. Like octopus, chameleons, or cuttlefish, lictors can change the color of their skin to perfectly match their surroundings, making them practically invisible. Unlike other warrior variants, the lictor is an opportunistic hunter and will stalk prey for days, if not weeks, until the time is right to strike. In this state, they remain completely motionless for extended periods of time. And when striking, the lictor, rather than attacking out in the open, will pick off its prey one by one. You haven't seen Predator.
No, but I've been thinking about it this whole time.
It's very much like Predator.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just this species of Tyranid has its own variant of subspecies, which we will mention in 1 second. Once the prey is in its grasp, the lictor will devour the victim's brain, absorbing their memories in order to learn of possible enemy weaknesses. Lictors also secrete a pheromone that attract nearby Tyranid forces to its position, so even in the event that the lictor is killed, the swarm will soon be upon its prey.
It's like wasps.
It's like wasps. The psychic variant of a lictor is known as a neurolictor, utilizing psychic attacks to drive its prey into a paranoid frenzy. Like Cthulhu shit. I'm going nuts. Why do I feel so uncomfortable? And meanwhile, the neurolictor's just in the background, just completely cloaked, going like,
Yeah. Like, Zinch would probably.
Oh, demons. Chaos? They don't fuck with Tyranids.
Well, I just meant, like, were they to fuck?
Wait a minute.
It would work out. I think they would get along.
Unlike most Tyranid species, the lictor is a single entity that is reproduced. Each inherits the memories of all the slain members of its species and are directly influenced by the hive mind. When a lictor dies, they don't like, oh, another one is made. They're practically reincarnated.
It's like a phoenix.
Yes. Not only that, this makes them fucking scary to fight.
Absolutely.
Now,
you have to contain it.
yeah. The apex form of a lictor is known as a death leper that is known to use sheer terror to strike fear into its prey by quickly disposing them. So it's basically like the normal lictor and the neurolictor combined into one perfect being.
Yeah.
It is the perfect hunter.
Right.
It also has like a cool like flesh waistcloth
Like cape thing?
It's awesome. I fucking love the death leper.
Hi there, Bricky here. Ava, you dumb shit. It's Death Leaper. Leap as in jumping, like you should do off a bridge. Thank you. Goodbye.
I love it.
It kind of looks like it's sitting on a little chair.
Yeah, kinda.
I don't know why that's cute to me, but
Yeah,
that's
kinda.
what's going
I
on
see
in
it.
my brain right now.
Our next type of advanced subspecies. I did say earlier that as we get bigger, they're going to get smarter. That's not necessarily true with this next one.
Okay.
A Carnifex is a walking tank.
Oh, okay.
This Tyranid species is incredibly versatile in its ability to destroy.
Yeah.
With very little intelligence, they think of little else than the destruction of whatever is directly in front of them. Extremely tough and capable of supporting a variety of bioweapons that it uses to terrorize terrifying efficiency and can regenerate their wounds very quickly. They are forces to be reckoned with. There is a subspecies known as Screamer Killers, which was featured in the Leviathan box, that uses a form of energy to scream out psychic bolts at the enemy. It's like that Mortal Kombat character. Just make them explode.
I feel like I can see how this lends itself very well to something like a video game as somebody who enjoys like Left 4 Dead.
Oh yeah, this fits so well.
Because like there are infinite possibilities, and it seems like one of the cool things about Tyranid is exactly that there are infinite possibilities. Anything can happen.
Do you want to know my hot take for that Dark Tide game?
Yes.
My hot take is that we should not have been fighting Nurgle. We should have been fighting Tyranids. And we should have been Space Marines.
Yeah, I mean, as we were talking about this and I was forming that thought in my mind of how to communicate it to you, I thought, oh, are these the guys they fought in that game?
Yeah.
No, that was Nurgle, which they came to mind.
Yeah, I feel like it would have been better if we were just fighting Tyranids. But Space Marine 2,
They lend themselves well.
it seems like we're going to be fighting Tyranids, so that's cool. That's cool. That's
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah, man.
I've seen some Tyranid fighting games before.
The cool thing about Tyranid books, there has never been a Tyranid book that is told from a Tyranid's perspective.
I wonder why.
Yeah, because it's supposed to be the horror
For an entire book.
for a whole book. So what's really cool about that though is the fact that like you have the horror with it, because it's just they're in the vents, they're getting through, I can hear them, you know, like it's coming and it's not good.
Okay, so obviously their intelligence and abilities can go up and down or change. Has there ever been some kind of actual communication with them?
They seem to be able to communicate
Yeah.
with each other via the hive mind. They don't talk.
Nobody has ever been able to like signal to one.
No.
Or like
Hold that
okay.
thought.
Yeah. Okay.
As we get into the more advanced species. We're getting more advanced now.
Okay.
Here we have what could be considered the generals of the armies. Hive tyrants, also known as overfiends.
Right.
Created as commanders of the army, this species of Tyranid are self-aware, very intelligent, and capable of using psychic powers to buff or debuff the enemy. Like lictors, this species is practically immortal, wherein each entity is defeated, another will be produced with the previous memories of the species. These commander units have a variety of evolutions, from weapons to wings, and can even remember and adjust strategies based on mistakes it's made in the past.
Interesting.
I punched that guy.
Yeah.
It didn't do anything. I'm not going to punch him again.
I could see that being a very advantageous buff or something. So they freaking learn.
They
it's not just
learn.
that they adapt, they learn.
But only some of them learn.
Yeah.
Yeah, only some of them.
But the ones that learn fast.
These are considered like the commanders.
Yeah.
Let's get into what's considered like the Primarch.
Okay.
The Norn Emissary.
Ooh.
The final species of Tyranid we will be talking about today is perhaps the most horrifying from a combat point of view. Incredibly large, powerful, and agile, these Tyranids act as the will of a Norn queen, with the emissaries performing as assassins and assimilators as masters of raw power. Before deployment, they are given special orders directly from the Norn queens and are sent to eliminate enemy commanders or abduct knowledgeable prey. They are able to compress their size into impossible spaces and move faster than they should given how large they are. In a short story in which a Norn emissary was introduced, a single emissary killed like 6 custodies, no problem.
God.
That's a problem.
Damn.
That's rough.
Yeah, that's not good.
So, in terms of the tree of the hive mind, very
Yeah.
top is hive mind. And it seems that below that is what are called the Norns.
This is almost like queens.
Yes. We don't know what the Norns technically look like. We just know that there's like a group in the hive fleet
Yeah.
that seem to be like giving the shots from the hive mind. Below them, Norn emissaries, and then everything else beneath that we've talked about. So they're really cool. I like them. Their model is enormous.
Yeah, I like them. It's also kind of funny. He's like, bah! Again. He's like, nah.
Who sorted the mass this way? Who sorted the human flesh like this?
So you might think with a species like Tyranids, there would not be any unique named ones. There's no Gazkul Thraka of Tyranids.
Right.
You would be wrong to
Is there
assume such a
clicky,
thing.
clicky, clack, click?
Our unique Tyranids we will be talking about today
Yeah.
starts with possibly the most classic.
Oh, I've seen
Old One Eye.
this. Look at him.
A Carnifex from High Fleet Behemoth with a unique ability to regenerate rapidly, surviving many encounters that should have killed the beast. However, since then, this ability seems to have been common. So what's weird is that this Carnifex was unique in that it could regenerate like instantly and it could always come back.
Yeah.
But since High Fleet Leviathan has come up from like the bottom of the galaxy,
Oh god. Yeah.
this seems to be common in Carnifexes. So the High Fleet seems to have been like, that was a good evolution.
Yeah, taking it.
His namesake comes from the first time the beast was brought down, when an unknown hero fired a plasma pistol into its eye, giving the iconic scar. The monster fell into a canyon and froze. However, decades later, a group of smugglers came across a body frozen in the ice, and thinking if they could make a fortune, they thawed out the monster, and it woke up. Now cut off from the hive mind and rampaging throughout the galaxy, the fate of Old One-Eye is a mystery, and every so often a report comes in matching the description of the beast. However, these reports are most likely incorrect, as they keep appearing. But one thing is for sure, where Old One-Eye does appear, there is little hope of escape from its rampage.
He's really lost.
So instead of characters, we have like monster legends.
Like stories of beasts.
Yeah, we have Old One-Eye, and it's almost like a boogeyman, like a bedtime story of like,
It's cryptids.
Old One-Eye will come get ya. Yeah, it's very similar to cryptids. Like, gotta be careful of Old One-Eye. I love it. I love it so much. Our next unique Tyranid, the Doom of Malantai.
Oh no. What the?
On the Eldar craft world Malantai, you remember craft worlds, right? They're the big ships that are like the size of continents that the Eldar ride on because they don't got homes no more. So they're on these ships, and there was craft world Malantai. Now, they were fighting against a High Fleet known as High Fleet Naga.
Oh.
And once it was destroyed, right before the final blow was struck, it launched spores directly at the craft world. The Eldar hunted down the Tyranids that posed the most immediate threat, letting a single zoanthrope consume the infinity circuit of the craft world. Now, to remind you, my love, the infinity circuit, the ship is powered by ghosts.
Love that.
The Tyranid ate the ghosts.
Yeah, that's not great. Oops.
It somehow very quickly evolved to eat ghosts.
Okay, well.
The craft world was destroyed along with all the Eldar within. Since then, the Doom of Malantai has not been seen by any witnesses. But what we do know is its body is massive, and its psychic force is so great that it can absorb the life from any living thing around it.
I want to see Shanty about this guy.
This feels very sea shanty-ish, right? Like, these are sea monsters.
Yeah.
Old One-Eye's out there. Oh, you gotta be careful. The Doom of Malantai will get you. Like, it's very much that vibe. It's very cool. I don't exactly know what to really make of the Doom of Malantai, because a Tyranid that ate the entire infinity circuit of a craft world and then has never been mentioned again is a shame, frankly. That seems cool.
Yeah.
That seems like it would be a problem.
Yeah.
But space is big.
Yes.
Could be sleeping. Who knows?
Maybe it's taking the souls back.
I gotta get back.
What if the souls like went into the beast and now it's like made up of all of those consciousnesses?
Oh, that'd be weird.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be weird. Oh, whoa.
And so now it's just acting completely differently because it's changed.
That would be cool. Oh, you can make like your own army based around this idea.
That's my idea. No stealing.
Oh, no stealing. Our last unique Tyranid
But look at him. He looks like he's just one at Corn's got.
is known as the Swarm Lord. The Swarm Lord is a hive tyrant that is so old it is as ancient as the Tyranid race itself.
Oh, I don't like his little mouth.
Not only is it a tactical genius, it is arguably the most dangerous Tyranid, period. It is specifically designed to outthink and outmaneuver the enemy. It can fucking trick people. At one point, the chapter master of the Ultramarines was fighting on a planet. They're fighting the bugs, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he sees the Swarm Lord. And he's like, I gotta fight that thing. If I kill it, all these other ones will start scattering.
Mm-hmm.
And then he noticed something. All the little ones started surrounding him. And he was like, oh fuck, they're gonna jump me.
Mm-hmm.
And then he realized they had formed an arena that just left him and the Swarm Lord in the middle.
Oh my god.
And the Swarm Lord lifted its sword up to it
challenged
fucking
him.
challenged
Okay, that's
him. That's fucking metal.
Okay, that's cool. So I would consider that communication.
Yeah, fair enough. This is why I said hold that in your head for later.
Yeah.
So the chapter master was like, I guess I'll fight it. And as he's fighting this Tyranid, he couldn't get a hit in on it. And it's just like, it's got 4 fucking swords and like a tail that's like a bunch of mouths and stuff like that.
It's like Grievous.
It's Grievous. It's literally General Grievous. And it's fucking like doing all this like crazy shit.
Yeah.
It fucking parried him. So this thing's scary.
Yes.
And not only that, it is like almost impossible to kill it.
Yeah.
And if you do kill it, because it is a hive tyrant, it will remember the mistake it made and will not make it again.
Yes.
This creature has killed planets, destroyed civilizations, consumed entire species, orc was, and has fought some of the galaxy's greatest fighters and won. And has such a strong connection to the hive mind, it can reincarnate into any hive fleet at will.
Wow.
This creature is the closest that you will ever have to like a main character when it comes to Tyranids.
Yeah.
This is the guy, the man, the myth, the legend.
This guy's playing Blue Mage.
Yeah.
And everything's unsynced.
If Hive Fleet Behemoth, somehow the forces are like cold,
Yeah.
it'll just die.
Yeah,
and then
just to like shoot somewhere else.
off on another planet. Hive Fleet Leviathan is over on the other side of the galaxy fighting, and the Swarm Lord just gets up.
yeah.
And he's like, I'm here.
Hi guys.
I'm here now. Hey guys, what's up?
I want to see this guy fight one of the bird things from Zinch.
Oh, the Lords of
that
Change.
like can just see the future.
Just barely, yeah.
Yeah, that would be interesting.
So, my love, that is pretty much all I have with buggos today. Now, obviously, I didn't go into every single species. There are like even bigger Tyranids out there that are essentially like world annihilating huge.
Yeah.
But for the most part, we have covered the basics when it comes to the bugs. How do you like the Tyranids, my
I think
love?
they're pretty cool.
Yeah, right?
No, they're a lot more like
In depth than you
fleshed
initially
out
would
than
think.
I actually thought. Yeah. I underestimated them.
Well, it's because you see them and people just go, haha, bug hungry.
Straight men are bad at selling these things. Is that just what it is?
Could you provide an example?
This is how the professionals at Games Workshop tried to get me to get into Tyranids.
Okay. They just gave you the box.
It's like a
They
bug.
gave you the model of the month. Oh, okay. I like bugs.
And
Thanks.
I'm not saying that I asked questions about it and like all this stuff. But what I mean is like the Tyranids have been presented to me as like a swarm. And
that is what they
and
are.
like bugs.
Yeah.
And that is what they are. And I feel like I've heard kind of the idea of that like shared hive mind kind of thing before. And I mean, you can absolutely just boil it down to I've sat here and like actually taken it in. Details of individual different ones. But just I feel like
The pitch does not do them justice.
yeah, absolutely. Like they're
When it's
coming at me
not.
telling me it's like Starship Troopers, but it's actually like
It's brains. And as you've noticed, as we've gone through these images, they have a very strong brain motif. They're brain bugs.
yes, they are
Yeah.
all very like neural looking.
That's why I was really happy you made that connection of the synapses, because I never knew that. That's a really cool factoid. And suddenly everything makes sense of like, oh, it's literally a brain. Not only is it the swarm, it's the brain.
Yeah, it's this is kind of going to be a funny example. You know that one opening of The Simpsons where they all get on the couch like normal, and then it starts backing up, and it just keeps going, and then eventually you come out of Homer's eye, and then they're like sitting there again, and you're like, what is the universe? Are we all just a piece of a bigger organism?
For Tyranids, yes.
That kind of comes to mind.
Yeah, for Tyranids, yes, that's correct.
Dude, that time I saw that on The Simpsons at like 9 years old changed my whole life.
Changed a lot.
I was
It
like,
changed the
"Oh."
course. Yeah, no, I feel like Tyranids are really, really cool. And I'm glad 10th edition has really given them a spotlight, because I think Tyranids are cool. I'm glad that more people are getting into Tyranids as a result of them being part of like the box. Obviously, people are going to get into Space Marines because they're on the box. They're the poster child, whatever.
Yes.
But I'm glad buggos are getting some focus. They're really cool. I like the bugs.
Absolutely. They feel like actual aliens.
Yeah, they do feel like out of this world. Yeah.
In a much more traditional sense. Whereas a lot of the like warp things are more like monster. And by monster, I mean like demon. Like,
Yeah, demon.
again, yeah, like but this feels organic.
Yeah, and that's why I made a point to mention all of the guns and stuff that you'll see on them, all of the little things that look like it could be technology. No, it's all just like other creatures or like an evolutionary thing, a symbiotic relationship, a parasitic relationship. There is no like metal. There is no blacksmithing. There is no inventing or technology. There is only evolution. There's only adaptation. It's very, very cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
And not only that, aren't they just adorable?
Yeah.
They're really funny looking.
I don't know what I want to do with them. I want to give that guy a Nerf gun.
Oh, the barb gaunt.
He like doesn't quite look sure of himself. He's like, I'm gonna do it. And the other one's just do it. We only have this area booked for 2 hours.
Yeah.
But I think that they're very cool. I think that their designs skirt a really cool place of like alien kaiju bug.
Yes, that's what I think I am drawn to them the most of is just, it's not just an alien ripoff.
Yes.
Like obviously you can see the xenomorph in there. You can see the HR gear. You can see...
But xenomorph is inspired by real biological organisms.
Exactly. They have taken the inspiration and have ascended past it.
Yes.
It is now its own thing. And that's why I quite like them is because they feel truly unique.
Yeah. They feel like something... I'm not questioning it.
No, it's just, it's an alien.
And normally, when we go through something, I'm like, why would he do that?
Why would it do that? And the answer is, it's an alien.
Yeah, it's just
Doing its thing. It doesn't come from our galaxy. Where does it come from? We don't know.
He's just a little guy.
How many societies or galaxies has it eaten since it's been like on the way here? No idea.
The term gene stealer's kiss, that is my new gene seed, as in, I'm going to think about that tonight, whatever that means.
So does this mean I should start up a Gene Stealer cult notes?
No.
Well, I mean, like you seem interested in the concept of
I
like
thought
a
you
society.
were saying like, okay, so
No.
let's give in to the gene stealers.
No.
And then like take our pension and go. Yes, I would be interested to learn. Obviously, I have an interest, which we've probably seen the pattern.
Strange creatures.
Or magic, psychicness, or manipulation of energies. I find I'm attracted to those kinds of world building elements.
And I find Tyranids also so fascinating because they're not using the warp. The psychic stuff that they're using is like...
Yeah, exactly.
That's them. That's like... It's a different thing. And I find that so interesting.
All of Warhammer is happening. And there's this whole warp shit going on. And everybody's like, oh my god, look at all the stuff that's coming out of the warp. It's horrible. And it's like, have you guys even considered what could be in this dimension?
Have you even considered what it's like 2 neighborhoods over? It's bad. So can you understand when the Silent King was like seeing the swarm come and he was like, it's bad. We gotta go. Like, But again, completely silent. He's just like gesturing aggressively. Tyranids are not only really cool looking, speaking from experience, they're very fun to paint. Like I said at the beginning of the episode, like the colors that you can do, the techniques you could do, it is almost as creatively freeing as like a blank canvas.
Yeah.
It is like, hey, do you want to make your own hive fleet? What's a monster that you can name at the top of your head? Some sort of cryptid.
Chimera.
Hive fleet chimera. There you go. And it sounds cool and you can like make it all like unique.
And then it can be like, Edward.
Hey, if I've sold you on Tyranids, awesome, great. I want to see them. Send them to me on social media, or if you're in the Patreon Discord.
Oh yeah, guys, send us your bugs.
Send us your bugs. I need to see them.
At us. I gotta see your bugs.
I need to see them.
Send us your bugs.
Now, if I've sold you on the idea of getting like a box of Tyranids, I need to warn you. I mentioned this at the beginning. You're gonna have a lot of models. And that's okay.
Yeah.
I'm just letting you know. When you go buy that start collecting box with your friend or whatever, or just by yourself, don't matter. Just know there's going to be a lot of little guys that look identical, but that's sort of the appeal. So just take it slow, find a process that works with you, and don't be afraid to like try some speed painting techniques, experiment, see what works, see what doesn't. I'm just trying to let you know there's going to be a lot of models, but that's okay.
It's funny because we're comparing them to a brain. And my therapist says to me, you're going to have a lot of feelings, and that's okay.
And that's okay.
You're going to feel like it's too many feelings.
And that's okay.
And it's all coming from bigger feelings that are actually deeper.
It's coming from the hive mind.
And it's okay that you don't know what to do about it.
That's okay. It's all right.
It's okay. So what I'm saying is I think this sounds very therapeutic to paint.
Yay!
Meditative, maybe?
Well, luckily, Alex has a whole box.
Because, like, how do you make a mistake, really, right?
You accidentally dunk it in Null Noil. Oops.
So then he's an oil
He's an
Tyranid.
oil one. Yeah.
I could see this being a great, so long as obviously you're keeping track of the pieces, option for kids. Because like
Oh my
as much
goodness,
as it is
yeah.
horrifying,
Oh my God.
because we understand like death and stuff,
Yeah.
and like doom.
Yeah, death like exists. What?
Like I've seen the Meg, so like I know
The
what
Meg.
that looks like. Even
I hate that movie.
going to a kid and explaining that they're like if the kid likes Predator or something, because some kids are into that, right? I mean,
Oh, yeah.
obviously keeping the conversation age appropriate.
Yeah, it's like Predator. It's like Alien. Have you seen those?
A kid would love to paint this.
Oh my God, yeah. Like, oh my goodness.
Marines too, but like,
Dude, if I was a kid and I grew up with Alien, well, I did kind of grow up with Predator, but like, if you described to me what a lictor was or a death leper, fuck yeah, I want to paint it. That looks awesome. That thing looks sick. And you're telling me it acts like the Predator? It's like hunting its targets and it's like just completely invisible and it's picking them off one by one.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's so cool. Are you kidding me?
it's almost like a scarier Pokemon in like a,
Yes.
obviously like a different kind of way. There is this sense of like you can collect them and like,
Yeah.
I guess that kind of applies to minis in general.
Yeah.
But I don't know. There is something about them that feels cohesive and separate enough that they can be their own enjoyment without having to do all the human stuff. Which the human and demon stuff is obviously really cool. I'm enjoying the heck out of that. But this feels like if this is all you wanted to do, you could just do
Oh yeah,
this.
that's how a lot of orc players feel as well, where it's just like, I don't really care about the whole human space marine thing. I just want orcs. Orcs are fun. I like the orcs.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with Tyranids. It's just like, I just like the bugs.
It's like people who go into Final Fantasy and all they do is crafting.
Yeah.
Like, cool. They're having fun.
My love.
Yeah.
What would you say your favorite Tyranid is?
Oh, okay. Design wise, I like the one that's like the really red one. No. You were going to the right
Oh,
one.
let me
No. The
scroll.
other one.
Look
The
there.
one who I said was sitting like me. No, you've gone past it now. Sorry. That one. The more red one with the darker blue. Go up. Go slower. Stop. There.
This one.
Yes. I just like, I don't know.
The
I think
zone
this
throw.
is just an appealing image of it even. Like I would get this as a tattoo. Like I just think this looks cool as fuck.
I think Death Leper really sold me on Tyranids as I was looking through all the subspecies because like it really is like the wing flesh waistcoat cape thing.
Yeah.
It's just so cool looking. It's really awesome.
Yeah. I like the scary ninja destroy the planet slowly
Yeah.
golem guys. That's very interesting to me, although I'm also like and then I also quite like the scary boss guy who seems somewhat intelligent. I think that's
The
pretty
Swarm
cool.
Lord.
Yeah. And I also like Bismarck down there. Keep going. Bismarck.
Oh, the Doom of Montai. Yeah, no, I think Tyranids are definitely one of the more fascinating. Like, it's by far one of the most requested things that we've gotten ever since, like, orcs and stuff.
Oh,
Because
absolutely.
guess what? Tyranids are really, really cool.
Yeah, thanks for recommending it, guy. I mean,
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
it's fun to see people be excited for you to find something out or learn about something, and then you learn about it, and you're like, "That was cool."
Mm-hmm. That was really cool.
and everybody's like, "Yeah."
Not only that, but like it's so nice to have a faction that it's like, hey, what's your deal? And when it comes to like Space Marines, it's like, well, here's a 65 book series. And it's like, I don't want to read that. You know what you need to know about Tyranids? Hey, they're bugs, they're hungry. My love, do you have any questions about the buggos?
I have quite a few.
Really? Hit me.
But I don't want to bug you.
Oh, you're not bugging me. In fact, they're bugging me. They're all over me. They're eating me. They're
Oh no, this is what I said was gonna happen.
What you got?
The squigs used to be these guys, right? Right?
So back in the old days of Warhammer,
Yeah.
40k specifically, squigs were classified not as an orc thing, but as a species of Tyranid. Yes,
Okay, I
that
can
is
see
no
that.
longer canon. They're an orc thing.
Are you saying
That lore changes.
that
Yes.
the lore can
That
be
the lore can
changed?
be changed at the drop of a hat. What do you think your color scheme for like a Tyranid thing would be?
I don't know. I feel like I would need to look at a bunch of bugs for inspo.
Ooh, yeah.
But I feel like I would be wanting to like base it off of some kind of real bug that's like cool, like scarabs.
So what's cool about the carapace that I have not seen a ton of people do, a lot of people go for like really matte colors. So, you know, I quite like behemoths where it's like the red skin and like the blackish blue carapace. I really like how behemoth looks. But if I wanted to do something that looks a little more like an actual bug, I would use and mix like a bunch of metallic paints with like contrast paints and like
Right.
so you have colored metals, and so you get that like exactly what you're saying, like a scarab or a beetle, where depending on how you look at it, like the color is literally changing.
There's like a holographic shift.
Yeah, that would be really cool. And I don't see a ton of people do that.
This is one of the reasons why I think it would be so interesting to play with nail art techniques. Because I know techniques that I could make your nails look like they're actually just sheets of polished silver.
Really?
Easily.
I guess it's the exact same thing as like, it's the same techniques. It's just a different medium.
It's just having the medium at your disposal and knowing how to apply it.
You're not using the same paints, but nothing's really different.
Yeah, you just want to take a look at maybe some ingredients to make sure, like, I don't know how well nail polish, it could slightly melt plastic or something, right?
Right.
I don't think it does, but I'm just saying, before I put it on my very expensive figure, I would quickly Google this.
Yes, absolutely.
That saying, if I had like 3 or 4 of these guys, which I'm just holding up the
Termagant, yeah.
Absolutely, I'd mess around and see what stuff looked like, because I think that there are tools that I don't often see used that would be interesting to play with, basically. And that's art, right? So that's what's fun about it.
I need to mention that a lot of reasons why we don't see a lot of really complicated techniques with Tyranids, it goes back to what I was saying of like, you're going to have to paint like 200 of these.
Yeah.
And that's a lot to ask for if you have a really complicated color scheme. So people tend to keep it very, very simple. For example, hey, all the high fleets I mentioned in this video, how many colors did they have? They had 2.
Right.
2 main colors, like magenta, purple, maybe some blue in there.
Right.
Red, black, maybe some blue.
Right.
It's just, you typically start with color of the skin, color of the carapace, and then like complementary colors along with that. But when it comes to painting 200 little guys, you want to keep it really simple.
Yeah, you're gonna kind of get down to your like, what's it called when you have like a system where you're
Your
like,
conveyor
like
belt.
a factory system.
Your conveyor belt, yeah.
Which I have seen like pictures of people doing a Tyranid army, and it's like 5
Yep.
friends like sitting around a table, and one's doing the tail
Yep.
and he passes it over.
Yeah.
I could totally see that. That would be quite fun to do if you were doing like one of those challenges where it's like, how many can you do in 24 hours?
Oh yeah, like no limit on like the box or like the amount of minis, but just like how many can you do in this amount of time? Any other questions about Tyranids, my darling?
So in your current knowledge of the lore, has there been anything else along the lines of that communication moment?
As far as I know, the only Tyranid that has straight up communicated would be the Swarm Lord. The most you might get from another type of Tyranid species would probably be Gene Stealers, but even then that's a little iffy because that's more of like human hybrid
Right, yeah.
Tyranid mind influence. So, yeah.
Right, okay, yeah.
Yes-ish, no-ish.
There's no talking to him.
There is no talk. A Tyranid will not walk up and
This
go,
is
"Oh."
not where I'm gonna strive in that. I like to calm down the situation and let's figure it out.
No, they want to munch. They want to eat.
I do usually
munch,
make extra.
munch.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
fair. There is a video game where you play as Space Marine Terminators called Deathwings.
Okay.
Where you fight in a spaceship that's like
Right.
abandoned because it's been taken over by a bunch of Tyranids.
Oh, that's just dead space.
Yeah, it's okay. It's all
Okay.
right. I
That's
I
fair.
really wish we had a more Left 4 Dead style Tyranid. It just makes sense. It just makes sense. I don't know why they didn't go with that.
It
but
feels
whatever. That's
kind
just
of
me
like
thing.
if you did a quiet place but didn't have the whole like sound thing.
A little bit, yeah.
Them showing up kind of would be a similar event.
Another thing too, which is really neat, is like when you read a Tyranid book or a book that has Tyranids in it, most of the time you know what you're getting into. Like it is going to be a horror story.
Right.
It's going to be like your characters are probably not going to make it out of this. They're probably going to get munched up by bugs, but let's buckle up for the ride. Let's see what happens.
It's like going into a shark movie. You know someone's gonna
Someone's going to get munched by the shark. You know most of the people on the ship, on the Nostromo, are not going to make it out when the xenomorph is on board. And that's one.
Oh, it's about time. What if you had a really big can of Raid and just point it in that direction? The bug spray!
Smash Bros. Main.
Zelda/Sheik.
Cloud, Ganondorf, Link, depending. Favorite IRL bug? I like mantis and ants. They're cool.
I like bumblebees. They're cute.
I like bees the most, I think.
Bees are very cute. Isopods. I have isopods because they live with Kita. They eat her poop.
As professional YouTubers, is there a particular reason you keep letting John out of the basement? He helps us.
He knows where the files went.
He know how computer goes.
We don't know how he know, but he know.
If it's okay to ask, how did you two meet each other?
Ava had an audition on the internet for a voiceover role, and I was like, hello, Mr. Dark Moon Studios.
Oh.
I would like to audition. Here are my audition lines. And I was like, and then he was like, hello, Krillin. Thank you for auditioning. You have the role.
I misspelled her name.
And then we recorded together. And then 7 years later, we started dating.
Yep.
That's how that happened.
Love is real.
Woo!
Woo! Favorite fictional setting and why? If either is Warhammer, what's your second fave? We had a bit of a problem answering this question.
It's true. It goes too deep.
We're getting caught up in like, where would we want to go? But like, dude, Lord of the Rings is cool, but Mordor and orcs, and like, oh man, that kind of would stink. I don't know. We're getting all too caught up in it. We like settings that usually have a magical element to it.
That's true.
Whether or not it's fantasy or just our world, but magic exists. We quite like those sort of stories.
Yeah.
So things like Lord of the Rings, magical girl stuff. I like a lot of mecha things.
Ghibli universe.
As for why, I don't know, just something like that just kind of calls to us.
Things
We
that
just sort
give
of,
us, that bring us joy.
yeah.
I don't know, there's a little spark you feel when you go to a place that is fictional and good and you like it there. It's like I have pleasant memories, or I will gain pleasant memories, or this place has a good energy.
Who the fuck are you asking me such a broad question
Don't get
in
mad
my
at
show?
this guy. We invited them to ask questions.
Who the fuck?
One of
Who
our
do you
patrons.
think you are?
Shut up, Ava. Who do you think you are?
In 1922, Stephen Poplawski was the first man to mount an agitating element into a simple glass container. Wow, cool! It has been 84 years, Kevin! Your hypothesis presumes such placidity that it spits in the very face of human progress!
A 99 pence blender would be 29 pounds in the red, you oil barrel!
Margins!